Hello students, my name is Anand Poddar. So today I am going to explain about unit number 1, basic structure of computers, lecture number 2. Now let us go to the contents that we are going to discuss in this lecture. That is basic operational concepts and bus structures. Now let us go to the called as basic operational concepts. Now, whenever you want to perform a given task, or you can say adding of two numbers. So for adding the two numbers, you have to write a program. So that program consists of a list of instructions. So writing that instructions and saving the program into a memory. So whenever the task is to perform, so appropriate program should be written with a list of instructions. So all the instructions will be stored in the memory. So individual instruction or line by line instructions are brought into the memory, into the processor. So to process that instructions, first the individual instruction will be fetched into the memory and then into the processor, which will be responsible for executing certain operations. So whatever the data we use in the programs are called as operands. So these data will also be stored in the memory. Now consider the instruction as given in the example. The instruction is an add instruction. So what does this instruction does? The instruction is, as you can see here, add location A comma R0. So here we have two operands, that is location A and R0. So this instruction, what it does is it adds the operand that is present at the memory location A. So location A is the memory location, that is the name of the memory location. So it contains a operand. So that operand will be added to the operand that is present in the register R0. So R0 is the register that is responsible for holding operands. So the addition of the operand present at the location A will be added to the operand present at the register R0. So sum of these two operands will be again stored into the register R0. That is, if the location A contains 5, R0 contains 7, the sum will be, that is 12, will be stored in again in the R0. So this means which are the original contents of R0, that is 7, will be erased. That is, original contents of the R0 will be erased, whereas the original contents of location A, that is 5, will be preserved because we are only adding it to the R0. So first the instruction is fetched from the memory into the processor. So before adding this instruction, that is location, the entire instruction will be fetched into the memory into the processor. So after fetching, the next step is the operand that is present at location A. So location A is a memory location. Now whatever the value or operand is, it is fetched. So that operand will be added to the operand or contents of the register R0. So once it is added, whatever the sum, that is the resulting sum, will be again stored in the register R0. Now consider another instruction. So here you can see there are two instructions, that is load location A comma R1 and add R1 comma R2. So let us go through what does this instruction does. So first instruction, as you see here, is the same repeat, load location A comma R1. That is, it transfers the contents of memory location A into the register R1. So whatever the contents that are present in the location A will be transferred into register R1. After transferring, now R1 contains the contents of memory location R1. Second instruction, add R1 comma R2. So what it does is the contents of R1, that is whatever the contents that are present in the register R1 will be added to the contents of R0. So the addition of this, or you can say the sum of R1 and R0, will again be stored into the register R0. So during this addition, if you add R1 as well as R0, after the addition, the old contents of R1 as well as R0 will be destroyed. Even though R1 is added and stored the result in R2, R0, so all the previous contents of R1 and R0 will be erased after the summation. But the original contents of memory location locate A are preserved. That is because just we are transferring the contents. We are just copying the contents from location A into R1, because location A is the address location, that is name of the address, whereas R1 is the process register. Now next topic we will go here is connection between processor and memory. So how the coordination takes place between the processor and memory. So as you can see in the diagram, it is the diagram of a processor connection with the memory. So the rectangle box entire is called as a processor. So it is connected to the memory through these buses or channels. So the processor contains a number of registers used for several different purposes. So you can see there are a number of registers R0, R1 starting from R0 to Rn minus 1. So these are called as process registers. So these registers are used for several purposes. Next one we go for the component of processor is instruction register. So this instruction register, it will be responsible for the holding the current instruction that will be executed. So the instruction whichever is being executing by the processor, so that instruction will be present in instruction register. Next component of processor is program counter. So program counter is also another specialized register. So the function of program counter is keeping track of the execution of program, which means if suppose the program during the first phase of the program, that is when a program starts, the program counter register will only point to the instruction, that is it will only point to the address of the instruction, which means that instruction will be the next one to be executed. So it contains the memory address of the next instruction to be fetched and executed. So if the next instruction is to be executed, the program counter will update its contents and it will point to that instruction which is going to execute next. Now during the execution of the instruction, the contents of the PC are updated to correspond to the address of next instruction to be executed. So if the first instruction is to be executed, the contents of the PC will be updated, that is the PC will be get updated to the address of that instruction which is to be executed. So by using the program counter, we will come to know at which point the program is being executing. So as you can see here, there are n general purpose registers starting from R0 to Rn minus 1. Now as you can see here, whatever the program you write will be resides in the memory. So if you write a C program or any other program will be residing in the memory. So how does the execution starts here is, always the execution starts when PC is set to the first instruction of a program. So as I told the previous slide, the program counter is responsible for keeping track of the or pointing to the instruction that will be executed. So it starts when PC will be pointing to the first instruction of the program. Once the PC points to the first instruction of the program, so the program counter contains the address of the instruction that is going to be executed. So this address, or you can say the contents of PC, will be transferred to the MER. So MER stands for memory address register. So this register will get the address of the instruction which is to be executed. So it will be done by sending a read control signal to the memory. So MER will fetch the address of the instruction which is to be executed. So now once the MER gets the address of the instruction which is to be executed, the contents, or whatever the contents that are present in that address, is read out. So that contents will be addressed in the form of a word. So each of the contents that will be present which will be in the form of a word. So that contents will be loaded into the MDR. So MDR stands for memory data register. So it is used for holding the instruction which is to be executed. Now once MDR has got the contents of instructions, these contents are transferred to the instruction register, or you can say IR. Now once the instruction comes in the IR, the instruction will be ready to be decoded as well as executed. So after all this, the instruction register will contain the instruction which will be ready for execution. Now sometimes whatever the instruction is there, it may involve an operation to be performed. Or if suppose the addition of two operands is to be performed, it is to be performed by the ALU. So to perform the operation in the ALU, it is necessary to obtain the required operands. So before going for the execution, so even if the operand resides in the memory, it has to be fetched. So if two operands has to be performed, then it has to be fetched by sending its address to MER. That is, memory address register will get the address of both the operands. Then it will start a read cycle. Now, when the two operands has been read from the memory into MDR, so MER will get the address of both the operands from the memory, and it will transfer into the memory data register. Now, the memory data register, instead of sending it to the instruction register, it is transferred from MDR to ALU, because here we require operations to be performed, that is arithmetic operation to be performed. So it is transferred from MDR to ALU. Now after one or more operands are fetched, ALU can perform the desired operation. So if there are two operands, the two operands are fetched and ALU will perform the operation. So whatever the result is there, it will be again stored into the memory. So as you can see in the diagram, again it is stored in the memory. So whatever the result is there, it is again sent to the MDR. So after sending it to the MDR will send the result back to the instruction register. So whatever the computer is there, it will accept the data from the input devices and sends the data to the output devices. So some of the instructions will having the ability to handle input output transfers are also provided. Now I'll go to the next topic, that is bus structures. Now as you can see in the diagram, this is the line which is connecting all the functional units. It's called as a bus. So what is this bus is? It is a group of lines that serves as the connecting path for several devices. So if you want to connect all the input devices through a single path, that is called as a bus. So buses contains a line that carry data, address and control data. So this line is used for transfer of data as well as the address between one or more units. Now the simplest way to interconnect functional units is to use a single bus. So here you can see it is a single bus, that is all the units are connected only to a single bus. Now sometimes buses can also be used to transfer at one at a time. So what it means is only two units can actively use the bus at any given time. So if you are using a single bus, only two units, either input unit as well as output unit, only two units will be active That means only two units can perform the transfer operation. That is, not more than two units cannot perform the transfer operations. So bus control lines are used for arbitrary multiple requests for use in the bus. Now let us go to the advantages. Now the advantage of single bus structure is low cost and flexibility for attaching peripheral devices. So single bus structure, it is a very low cost when you go to the market, and its flexibility for attaching peripheral devices. So any devices can be added to the buses. Now, some of the system contain multiple buses. So, systems that contain multiple buses achieve more concurrency in operation by allowing two or more transfer to be carried out at the same. So, if you want to have a transfer of data between two or more than two units, you can use multiple buses. So, by using multiple buses, the cycle will be read cycle or write cycle will be fast. Now, whatever the devices are connected to a buses vary widely in the speed of operations. So, there are some of the electromechanical devices such as keyboards and printers which are relatively low. For this, there is a common approach which is to include buffer registers with devices to hold the information during transfers. Now, in this session, we have learnt about the basic operations such as load and add. How does the transfer of as well as execution of instruction takes place between memory as well as the processor. The structure of a bus, that is a single bus structure, and the various advantages of using bus structure. Thank you.